Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to open up and disassemble this ASUS VivoBook model F556U. If you want to see what the front looks like, or the top looks like, that's what it looks like. Okay, let's get a thumbnail there. Alright, so there we go. Anyways, let's go ahead and take this thing apart. So we're going to be using a PH1 JS1 screwdriver to remove everything. Okay, it looks like there's a hidden screw here. Most likely that is going to be for the RAM. Let's go ahead and pop it out if we can. I'm gonna kind of push down here to see. Let me see if I can show you guys close up this. All right, so we're gonna kind of push down here to kind of get a gap, and then I use a small flathead screwdriver to get in there, and you can see now we have access to that. Kind of already had a dent in it, so I don't know if somebody opened this before, but anyways, you can take this one screw out. Keep all the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. The way I do that is I put them flat side down like that on my desk in the pattern. I remove them. So we're going to do that. Now we're going to just get under there. And yep, there's one stick of RAM here. Alright, so that RAM's just sliding out. What in the world? What is going on there? Normally when you pull this, this thing pops upwards. So I have a feeling something is going on here with the RAM. That maybe this wasn't installed all the way properly. This is not good. How do I even get this out now? What in the heck? What? I've never seen RAM that did this before. It's very strange. Jesus. Do I need to take the bottom cover off? Let me take the whole bottom cover off, because normally when you pull these two tabs, it goes up at an angle and then you just grab it and pull it out. But as you saw, that's not happening here. So we're going to go ahead and undo all the rest of the screws. Again, keep them all in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. You don't want to mix them up, because if you do, you can actually cause damage to the computer. You can destroy it. You can have it go through the other side and make holes or pimples and things like that. The two screws here are much longer and also a bit skinnier. So again, if you mix them up, you can damage your computer. Wow, okay, these ones are even longer and skinnier. So, I don't know if somebody opened this before, so if the screws are in the wrong spots, I wouldn't know, but this is what I'm seeing right now, okay? Then the ones in the front here are about the same size, I think, as the ones back here. It's difficult to tell because I'm just putting them in order. I'm not really keeping it. Oh, actually, these two here are shorter. Interesting, but they're also skinnier. The two back here where the hinges are, they're actually wider screws, bigger screws. Okay, they're thicker but short. Right, and then this one's also a long one. Okay, I don't think we can pull this out yet, so we're going to have to get this out. Usually the way I do that is I go from the front here. Oh, nope, actually this design's different. So because the cover comes right here, what we're going to do is we're going to slowly open up the computer. You want to do it slowly because we took out two of the hinge screws. I'm going to get my fingernails in the gap there and then push with my thumb on the palm rest, and let's see if we can pop this out. If we can't, we might have to go from the other side. Yep. Okay, let's see. Can we do it from here then? So we'll go from here and see if we can pop it that way. Yep. Okay, there we go. So thumb on the back and pull from the sides. Okay, so we actually didn't need to open this up, so be careful closing it. All right, we're going to go around here now and see if we can pop that up. Yep, it's all coming up. And we're going around. There's a clip here, I think, that's kind of making it stuck. So make sure you unclip that. Oh, we missed one screw. They're hiding a screw in here. So you do have to open this cover and make sure you get the screw out. Jeez, that's a small one. So make sure you don't lose that or mix that up. All right, we're going to now hopefully get the rest. There we go. And same thing, going around here. Okay. Hopefully no other hidden screws under here somewhere. Oh, there might be some hidden screws in this. You're going to need to use either a folded out paper clip, or I don't know if a sim eject tool will be long enough. You just need like a little pin or something. This should work. Wiggle it around in there. And this, there you go, should pop out. I actually don't see any hidden screws here, so I guess we'll just unclip everything. Okay, so we'll continue around the front here. Okay, go around the side. This unclipped. So actually, what is holding this? Oh wait, the CD drive, I think it kind of goes over it slightly, so pull that out. You see this little thing? It sticks, this hooks over the top. Yeah, so you do need to kind of open the CD drive. and then it feels like it's stuck in this corner for some reason. Are they hiding a screw under here? They're hiding a screw under here. You see this? You see this kind of trickery they try and pull here? There's also a tiny screw, okay? It's about the same as the one that was under that little door. Jeez, okay. Is it open now? Are they hiding one here? Did that plastic just not hold the screw? No, they're not hiding one on this side. Look at this trickery. Oh, there must have been some liquid spill here at some point. Okay, now we have access to the RAM. Let's see if we can pop it out. There we go. Okay, the RAM should go in at an angle like this and then click down. So as you can see, we can't pull it out like that. When you pull this, you see how it pops up? That leads me to think the RAM might have been causing problems. They do have a drive here. Sounds like an SSD. So let's go ahead and see if it powers on right now. You want to be careful again where we have one less screw here and here. So open this very slowly. You might want to help hold this here because this part no longer has the case helping hold it together. So I'm going to hold the screen with my stomach while I pinch these down and rotate the whole thing. All right, let's go ahead now and power this up, okay, and see what happens. Because does it need to be plugged in? Is the battery dead? It needs to be plugged in, I think. Okay, maybe this computer has more issues than I was expecting. It might not be worth fixing. Actually, I saw the screen just flicker just now. Maybe it doesn't like that RAM. Maybe that RAM was bad and somebody just left it in there partially, but it wasn't actually clicked in. I don't know. Alright, I'm going to press and hold the power button to see if it shuts off completely. Maybe it's... Okay, you see how it went completely black now? Okay. Oreo, stop scraping your bed. There's nothing in there. Okay, let's push the power button again. I see the screen went black. I don't know if it picks up in camera. And you can see nothing happened here. What is going on? Is that stick of RAM bad? I'm going to press and hold the power button again. I don't know if you can see. The screen's like black now. Okay, there you go. Yeah, you can see the difference. Alright, I'm going to take this stick of RAM out completely. What is this? This is DDR3, 4 gigs, 12800S. So let's power this on again with the stick of RAM out and see if anything changes. See, what I'm wondering is why is there a blue mark on here? That's weird. Alright. Powered on. Nothing's happening. Why is nothing happening? I'm getting scared now. I took the RAM out and now, okay, I see the screen went off. Maybe I'm gonna hold it longer just to be safe. Okay, let's try it again. The screen's just going black. Why is nothing? Oh, there we go. Now it's booting the ASUS. Yeah, something might be wrong with that stick of RAM, and it was just partially in, not really doing anything. Their SSD is not doing anything at all. I have a feeling I'm going to have to order them a new SSD. Their battery, they're using an aftermarket charger, as you can see. Okay. And yeah, their SSD is not reading at all, so that's not good. At least, it's not a good sign for their data. Okay, as you can see, the thing is on, but it's not doing anything. I'm going to force shut it off again. We'll put the stick of RAM back in one more time just to see if anything changed. Oh, okay. You see that? I think this RAM really is dead, and they just had that in there. Let's try and brush that. Whatever that burnt-looking white corrosion stuff isn't coming out. Alright, let's try putting this back in one last time. Okay, let's see what happens here. We're going to plug this guy back in. Get the stick of RAM in all the way. I like to wiggle it as I push it, and then click it down. And let's see. Push the power button. I don't see anything happening. I'm going to hold the power button again. Somehow I must have worked on this, screwed up that stick of RAM, and then just threw it in there. Okay, let's do it one more time. You can see nothing. Oh, it turned itself on? It did that. It went to that black screen thingy on its own. Okay, so this laptop only has one removable stick of RAM, as you can see. All right. Yeah, I think it must have had some liquid damage at one point, and then maybe the RAM went bad, and I don't know. They decided to just put it like that. Anyways, you can see the fan is spinning, so it's trying to turn on, but nothing's there. Oh, wait. All right. You got the LCD LVDS connector here. If you're going to mess with this, you do need to disconnect the battery, and then press and hold the power button for at least 15 seconds before disconnecting that cable, or you can destroy stuff. Alright, you got the battery here, the connectors here. After you remove all the screws, you go from here and pop it up. It will just swing up at an angle like the RAM. Battery model number is C21N1509. Okay, there's a 2.5-inch SATA hard drive here, or SSD. Right now it's an SSD, but that SSD seems like it's toast. There's the cable here for the hard drive I/O. So the hard drive, this is its own board. So this is also for the optical disk drive. This board separates actually, and if you take these screws out, you can actually pop this whole board off, separate from the motherboard. But this connects the cable from here to the USB and the audio or headphone headset jack, as well as the SATA card. Okay, I can actually see these lights blinking here, so it's trying to do something with that RAM, but it's not able to. Alright, anyways, you got the keyboard connector here. I'm pretty sure there's a touchpad, trackpad, CPU soldered to the motherboard or logic board, whatever you want to call this. Wireless cards here, one antenna. You go from the tail and pop it up, but you do need to peel this tape off. Fan here, fan connector here. To remove those, I just grab and then wiggle from the wings of this white part. Don't try and pull the cream or tan or beige colored part. And then the DC jack is soldered in place, and I think that's about it to show in here. Okay, not really much else. But yeah, this stick of RAM is dead. The fan's spinning non-stop, nothing's happening. I'm going to shut it off one last time, and I'm going to try putting another stick of RAM if I have one. Let me see here. Okay, so we're going to pop this out. I hope it doesn't turn itself back on. Do I have DDR3? Okay, it's turning itself on for whatever reason. I don't know why. I don't know if I have DDR3 RAM available. Well, actually, I should. DDR3 is more common. Let's see if I have another 4 gig or 8 gig or larger. I have an 8 gig stick, DDR3. What was it? 12800? This is a 12800S. So actually, I can upgrade it with an 8 gig stick. I have an 8 gig 12800S Hynix RAM. So I can go ahead and put that. Then they'll have, I'm assuming there's already 4 gigs in here, but then they'll have 12. If I unplug this, okay, it does stay on, so the battery's working. So for some reason I thought the battery was dead, but I guess not. Alright, let's try this stick of RAM. If my head gets in the way, I'm sorry. Alright, hopefully the slot isn't the issue, and hopefully it's that stick of RAM. So I'll plug this guy back in. Is it going to turn itself on again without me doing anything? Maybe it's turning itself on because it's wiggling here, and then that's pushing the button. I don't know. Because the hinge, I don't know. Unless I was, okay, I powered it on. Let's see if it does anything. Again, we added an 8 gig stick of RAM. It's staying black. We'll give it a little time. Sometimes when you change the RAM, it takes a little while to boot up. The other issue is the SSD. Oh, there we go. So it works with that RAM. So this RAM is definitely bad. So somebody was being bad here and just stuck that in there doing nothing. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to pull the SSD out, the hard drive or SSD. Okay, there's not really much else to change in this laptop, and I also helped push the hinges down. Again, you don't want to just rip it up and down without helping hold the hinge in place, because otherwise you're going to destroy it. I'm going to check these screws. Oh, you see that was loose. So these screws, usually I will add some red thread locker, because they usually will come loose and then they break the screw mounts if you don't. Okay, over time they kind of wiggle around and then they come up slightly. And eventually they end up breaking the screw mount. So I put a little red thread locker in there to help hold it better. You can see how easily and loose these are. They use blue thread locker, which isn't quite good enough. I don't know if you saw, I was able to kind of twist even further, like clockwise, to tighten these screws because they were coming loose. And yeah, this design is actually not too good because the way they have the screws, they're all here. Usually you want a longer hinge. Like this one's a little bit better, but it's still kind of short to where the opening and closing is a lot of force into this, and it ends up breaking the plastic, but luckily it lasted this long. Okay. Again, I'm going to add a little red thread locker. I know somebody's going to complain and say, don't use red thread locker, that's permanent stuff. It's not, okay? On laptops, it's not permanent because the threads are so small that it's really hard for it to grip that tight on it. If I really wanted to do something permanent, I would put super glue. Super glue will kind of hold it more permanent. I don't think you can separate super glue from here. But this stuff, it's kind of like a sticky, waxy substance that kind of just makes it so the screw is harder to turn. Kind of gums up the threads. Alright. Just need a tiny bit more. Come on. Okay. There we go. Alright, and since I have this open, I can kind of clean the fans a little bit. It's not really bad, but might as well while I have it open. But yeah, let's go ahead and pull the hard drive, or yeah, the SSD out. They have an SSD in here, but okay, I'm gonna keep this little screw with that separate. Okay, let's go ahead and get the hard drive or SSD out. Just to make sure this thing's completely off, I guess might as well take out the battery. Again, keep track of all the screws. So we got this guy, got this guy. Okay, and one more here. Oops, actually that's not a screw. Why did I think that was a screw? So there's actually, I don't know if somebody opened this before and lost these screws, because there are only, what, two, I only saw 2 screws here. And if you look at the bottom cover, it'll go through these 2, but not here. So we're missing 1 screw here, and then maybe 1 more over here. So they're missing several screws. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and pop this up. So it's mainly from this side. Pull this up, okay? You might have to go from here as well. There you go. And it swings out. This is a very common design for HP laptop batteries. Not as common for ASUS, but this one uses that design. Okay, that's what the battery looks like on both sides. We'll set that aside. All right, now we're just gonna make sure it's off. So again, I'm gonna use my stomach to hold the screen down while I, oops, let's zoom out here, while I hold these hinges against the cover and open this. Okay, and now that we have the battery disconnected and everything, I'm gonna press and hold the power button for at least 15 seconds. This drains any residual power and makes it a lot safer to work on. I don't think this has a separate CMOS BIOS battery. I think it's just built into the main battery. So doing this, keep in mind, is also going to reset your BIOS, which means when you go to power it on, it's going to take longer as well. All right, so there we go. Should be enough time. I'm going to, again, push down on the hinges to close it up. I'm basically grabbing both and then using that to kind of twist the whole thing down. Okay, now we got the hard drive or SSD that we're going to remove here. Okay, so we do need to get this cable out, so flip these latches up. Once you do that, you can pull that out. You can pull this out. They tape this onto here for whatever reason. It's unnecessary. If you want, you can actually throw away this tape. I don't know where this little plastic clip came from, but you can throw that. Okay, so they just put some foil tape here. Be careful that you don't bend this cable trying to get that off. Okay, are you serious? They tucked this underneath this board. So I think we actually have to lift this board out. So let's take this board out. Is there another screw hidden somewhere I'm not seeing? I don't see anything else holding this. Okay, I think the headphone jack is just there. The thing is, it's locked in here as well. So can I somehow pull this clip out of the way? What? What the heck? How are you going to get this out? Is this part of the speaker? Oh, this is part of the speaker. Okay, so the speaker isn't held in with anything, so we should be able to just pull this up, right? Can I go underneath here? No? What is holding the speaker down? This is really weird. Okay, well, I guess let's take out these two screws and see if we're lucky enough that this can slide out or not. I don't know. We'll find out. But I am going to have to order a replacement SSD here. ASUS computers, you press F2 or delete to get to BIOS, and then you can go to the boot menu from there. Alright, so this, we should be able to slide the drive over, but, oh, we can, okay. So we can slide this over. You can see how it's kind of lifting this portion as well where the speaker is, but we don't want to do that. We just want to lift and then slide the drive out. What in the world? It's not coming out. So it's going to be difficult. I mean, it's possible. You see, if we keep doing this, we can get this out. But I'm assuming that's not a good way to do it. So this is a 256 gig SSD here. I want to take this piece out, but it doesn't want to come out. So lift this side and then push this inwards, I think, because the headphone jack is sticking out in there. So you want to lift this over the raised mount here and here. So get on both sides here if you can. And then from there, you should be able to swing it. There we go. And that's how we get that out. But I don't know how you would have got that out if you left the hard drive in. Let's try it, okay? So I'm assuming you should get this out first. All right, so let's get that back in there. Make sure this is all in. I'm going to test this SSD. I'm pretty sure it's dead. I'm going to order another SSD to put back, but you can see how you would put this back. Oh, this board also has a little damage on it. You see this? There's like liquid corrosion on there. So they must have had a spill at some point here and then brought it somewhere to have it taken a look at. And then there was still corrosion on it, but okay, let's go ahead and put this back. So this, the way you do it, okay, you get the headphone jack in, lower this down, and then we should be able to click this into place, in theory. There we go. You see how it clicked into place? Okay, so let's go ahead and try this again. Now we'll lift this part up. Lift this part up if we can. Oh, okay, there we go. It came out easier. Oh, there's also some gross corrosion stuff here, so might as well clean that. Okay, let's try that one more time. Slide that back in. Okay, this portion's a little tough to go down. You want to pull this over that way, and then you can easily drop that in. So actually, I think what I found the trick is, pull this. So while you're pulling this, you can see it goes away from the clip. I don't know if you can see that clear enough. There's too much stuff over here on my desk to... Okay, so, oops. So basically, we're pulling this so it goes away from this clip, and then you can lift it. There we go. Kind of difficult, but that's the easiest way. Oh, what is this? Oh my god, pieces of plastic and everything are all falling out everywhere. So actually, their headphone jack is all broken up as well. I didn't break it. There's no way I put enough force to cause that. So look at this. How is this all... What'd they do? It's all shattered and exploded. What in the world? Okay, I don't know about this. I'm gonna see if this can even be glued or something for them, so that way their headphones... I don't know if they use headphones. Oops, dropped that little piece. I don't know if I can glue this or not. I don't know if that's gonna cause more issues if I actually try and glue this in there. But it looks like it goes in like this. Yep. Oh, the gold contact thing is also kind of coming out here. So, I don't know. This thing's also broken. I don't know if I would trust that. It's semi's holding itself in place. Look at that, all that broken stuff. I'm going to try putting a tiny bit of super glue in there just to hold it. I know this isn't part of the normal repair. I don't know how many people are going to have this thing broken. That's crazy. Oh, how do I even pull it back apart? It's staying stuck together. It sits together so well, I can't even see where the broken part is now. Actually, it's holding itself together now. Or is it this? It's this side. How do I get it back out? Okay, let go. What the heck? It's holding itself together really well. I guess I'll just get this, put a little super glue on it, and then I'll just dab it where I need it to go. and hopefully that will be good. I'll pull this piece out. Yeah, I'll pull this out slightly. Just dab a tiny bit in that gap there. Can't really get much in there, so I don't know how well this will hold. But it is what it is, okay? We'll try and pull this side out as well. Pull this away as well. Get some of that super glue in there. And then push that all together. Ah. Ow. Now I dropped a dab of super glue on my foot. Okay, I'm just holding this together for it to completely solidify. Oops. Yep, I dabbed a little bit of super glue on my foot. And then what we want to do, because super glue, if you leave it, it stays liquidy for a long time, and if you stick other stuff, it's going to get on other things, so we're just going to wipe the excess. Okay, and okay, that's holding together well. It's not really moving anywhere, so we should be okay there. Hopefully this thing is still okay. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. All right, this little piece is also kind of popping up, as you can see. So we're gonna also put some super glue there. You just gotta dab a little more on it. Okay, so we're gonna just get some super glue into this. Okay, I'm going to use this to help push it because I don't want to accidentally stick my finger into that. And you gotta hold it for about 30 seconds or so. This is a small piece, so I think it should be okay. Alright, there we go. I'll try that up. More issues than I was expecting here. Okay. Alright, so there we go. We did a repair on that. Why is this not? There we go. Alright, so anyways, hopefully this helped somebody. That was interesting. We'll push this back in. Again, get that back down there. Okay, it helps to pull on this area where this raised clip is. So you see, we can do it again very easily, right? Very easy. Get that back down there. Again, pull it here, get that locked in, and we're good. Super easy, all right? And again, one last time. And look, see, this holds together well, so we should be good. Yeah, I don't know how they broke that originally. Maybe they had headphones in it and, like, accidentally yanked it. I don't know. That's my guess. We'll get that in. All right, this thing also pushed in. All right, so there we go. Got that back in. And again, oh, we do need to take it out because I need to test the SSD. So that's out. SSD, pull that over. Good. All right, so we got that. 4 screws holding this in place. This is just a 2.5-inch SATA connector here holding the SSD into place. But yeah, definitely seems like this SSD is bad, so we're gonna replace it for the customer. This isn't going to be part of this video, I don't think, because I don't think I have a spare on hand, so I'm gonna have to order one, and it's probably gonna take 1 to 2 days to arrive. But hopefully with all this you get how to put it back together. I think I'll film it all, and then you'll get to see how I put a new one. But basically just put it back in, put the 4 screws, slide it back in, click everything back down. Make sure this is out when you click the cover back down, the optical disk drive. Okay, again, because you don't want this part to be sticking out and then smash it down with the case. But yeah, I'll be back once I got the new SSD. I'll see you guys then. Bye for now. Alright, the SSD arrived, so let's go ahead and continue this SSD upgrade. So the SSD goes in this way. You want to make sure this lines up with this. Also, I was looking at the screws on my desk, and then I was like, why are the battery screws missing? And then I realized somebody did work on this before. I don't know if you see that. Like in my video, I saw there. I was like, it looked like there was a screw there, but I didn't take it out. Apparently, somebody put the screw underneath the motherboard. And yeah, I'm not gonna pull the whole motherboard out because that's a lot more work to be able to move that screw. And that's how they brought it in. So I didn't quote them for taking the whole motherboard out. So yeah, it's not going to affect anything. It's been working fine the entire time. So we'll just leave that there. Okay, so first thing we're going to do, we're going to put back the screws for the SSD here. Okay, so make sure the screws go in straight. We got one there, one here. Okay, why are these screws so difficult? There we go. Okay, is it? Okay, it looked like it wasn't going in. Alright, get these screws in. This one. And the last one. Okay. Perfect. Oh wait, did I put it upside down? I think the bracket goes up this way, doesn't it? Yeah, I put it upside down. Okay, let's take this back out. I guess make sure you don't put this upside down. My bad. Okay, so the bracket has these metal pieces facing up. It's been a while since I worked on this because SSD took a while to get here, but there we go. Flip that over and then get the screws back in. Okay. There we go, and the last screw. Then we have to reinstall the OS. I have a Windows, I'm going to try Windows 11 and see if that works on here. Anyways, we'll get this, line it up, push that back in. Why isn't it going in? There we go. Push that in. Don't forget the two screws that were holding the SSD in place here. You can also use a 2.5-inch SATA hard drive, but I don't know why you would want to do that. SSDs are much better, unless all you want is a whole bunch of storage. Yeah, definitely go with the SSD. Also, if you want, you could replace the optical disk drive, CD drive, with another hard drive caddy. So if you don't really use CDs and you want to have more storage, you can do that. Alright, we'll get this back in. Again, let's pull this back so we can drop that in. Perfect. Okay. Now we got this cable we gotta put back. Make sure to lift up the latches. Okay. We'll get this in. Alright, latch that down. Make sure that's up. Oh, actually, this also has some... Oh no, I hope... You see this? It might be their SSD's okay, and it actually had some burnt damage from this cable here. You see that? I guess we'll find out. I don't know. The customer said it was like intermittent on and off. Guess we'll find out. Alright, let's get this cable back in. And then we'll see here. So this cable's in. Latch that down. Good. Alright. My worry is that's the issue, because there's definitely one pin that looked burnt. I mean, I did notice there was some signs of liquid damage earlier. So, yeah. Alright. Let's get the battery back in. Line it up. Click that down. Get this screw in here. And this screw over here in. I'm going to put in all the hinge screws and then I'm going to test it, because if I put all the screws in right away and it doesn't work, then yeah, that's going to be annoying to have to take all back out. So line this all back up. Go ahead and click everything back down. Okay. Alright, we'll do this corner screw over here. And then, I mean, the rest is pretty much just put all the rest of the screws back in. If you can't figure that out, then I'm sorry, but I'm going to stop at the point after I get these screws in and then try and install Windows, and that's where we're going to stop. Because basically putting screws is a simple thing. Well, actually, I guess I can put them all back once we verify it's okay. Alright, we'll get that screw in, and then we'll get this screw in. If it's not working, then we're going to have to take it all apart again and redo. Alright, so we got this. Let's go ahead and grab the USB, Windows 11. Alright, we're going to press F2 and delete to get it to go into BIOS, so power it up. Do I need to plug it in to power it up? I hear something. No, it should be turning on. Okay. Come on, why is nothing on the screen? Okay, there you go, it's starting. F2, delete, come on. Oh, that has me thinking that it really is toast. So if that's toast, okay, you can see it booted here. We're going to go to the boot now. I can go to boot override. I'm going to boot my UEFI SanDisk Cruiser drive. We're going to try and install Windows 11. So we'll see. Hurry up. Stop scratching your bed. Alright, it's going to take a while. This will take a very long time. So let me pause and I'll be back. Alright, so it's starting. Let's go ahead and go next. Next. Okay, I agree to everything. Next. Oops, it says we're getting a few things ready, so this might take a while as well, so I'll be back. Okay, it's done. Let's go ahead and accept. I don't know why the CD drive keeps doing stuff. There's nothing in there. Please wait again. We'll just wait and see. Okay, so yeah, it's not seeing the hard drive or the SSD, so I think it's because that thing's actually burnt, so their SSD might actually be okay, because when I plugged it in with a USB, it seemed fine. So now I gotta see if I can find those replacement parts, see what it will cost, let the customer know, and then we'll continue from there. So that's it for now. We'll see what the customer wants to do. If they don't feel it's worth it, then we're just going to have to basically replace the computer. Alright, so yeah, I'll see you guys later. Alright, so sadly, yep, it definitely seems like the cable and that connector are bad. I also tried Windows 10 just to make sure it wasn't a weird issue with it being the drive being detected in Windows 11. So sadly, it seems we're going to have to pull the drive back out, and it's basically going to be considered not worth repairing. Not because the parts are too expensive, but because the the parts they're shipping from China, and they're going to take way too long. The customer said they needed their computer back today. So anyways, we're going to pop this out, and also I found out that you didn't have to pop out the CD drive to be able to get this out. So once you pop all these clips, okay, there's a lot of clips, work your way around. Okay, we'll go around to this side, same thing, pop the clips out. Okay, oh, this also has a crack in it. But once you get all this popped up, okay, you can actually pull this slightly away. Alright, but when you get it enough, you can lift from this side without it catching on here, or actually just pulling that out enough, you see it already popped up. So, oops, I pop that back down. Okay. Alright, so now we just gotta get this back out. Come on, let go. There we go. Alright, there's one bonus for you guys though, because now I'm going to show you how to remove these pieces. Again, since this one was already open before, then it's missing some screws. So if you see extra screws, make sure you disconnect those, okay? So we're going to take this out. We got to take the hard drive or SSD back out, because we're going to return this. I guess the one benefit is now I got the customer's data out for them. All right, so here's that. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and pull this back out. Oh, I guess let's take this whole thing out, right? So pull that again, and we can lift this out. Slide this out. I probably should ask the customer if they want their SSD back inside here. I don't see why they would. Oh, I also need to take my 8 gig stick of RAM back because I'm not going to be able to use that. So take that out, and then we'll put back, oops, you can't even see what I'm doing. Well, I mean, you get the idea. You've seen me do it already. We'll put this stick of RAM back in. Okay. I'm going to take my SSD that I need. I guess I can return this, or I can save it for future use if somebody wants a smaller SSD. Okay. Last screw. All right, now for the part that you haven't seen yet. Okay. We'll remove this board. Okay, so now that we have all of this out, let's go ahead and remove this board. So first, obviously, okay, you can see, we're going to disconnect the speakers. So just wiggle and pull it like that. All right, we got to also get the optical disk drive out. There's one screw here. Once you remove that screw, you can slide this just like that. All right, and again, you can replace this with a SATA, what do you call, optical disk drive or second hard drive caddy. Okay, you will have to transfer this over. There's 2 screws, then this just pops off. You would put that on the new one. If you want, you can also transfer this over, but this is a little tricky. Usually the plastic pieces end up breaking trying to remove that. Okay, there's only 2 screws holding this piece down, so we'll take those screws out. All right, and then we go underneath here, and then you can pop this up. You kind of try and do it evenly, the force, and wow. Okay, so there's that piece. And does this look burnt at all? There's dust on it. Maybe I should, I don't think that dust would stop it from working, right? No. What about this? Is this burnt or anything? Because if this connector is burnt, then replacing that won't do anything. This connector looks okay. Yeah, so it seems like it's something on this end. It's burnt or damaged. That's a shame. I think this probably shares some pins to this, and then this burnt portion probably made it so it doesn't work. Yeah. Alright, anyways, let's go ahead and put this thing back in. So you just line up this big circle here. Line up this one and then click it down. Okay, very simple. We'll get the screws back in. All right. All right, pretty simple, straightforward. Go. Then we just get the optical disk drive back in. Just slide it in and click that. All right, then we got to go ahead and put the hard drive caddy back on top. All right, we'll get these screws back in. Make sure all the screw holes line. Did I get the right screws? Am I mixing stuff up? No, they're the same. Either way, okay. All right. Oh, there we go. Why was it so hard to turn earlier? Okay, there we go. Make sure that these screw holes do line up. Okay. Normally the SATA drive would hold it in place. We'll get this back in. Okay. Now we have these 4 screws that are just going to be loose in there. So let's make a little pouch to hold them in there so they're not rolling around. All right. I'll just cut a piece of tape here. Alright. Then, now that we cut this piece of tape, I'm just going to fold over a small end on this side and a small end on this side. Okay, then we'll put the screws in this pouch. So we put those 4 screws in. Then what we do is I fold this over, okay, and have it a little bit overhanging, and that way this overhanging part will be a sticker, or tape, sticky tape. So we can just stick that there, and now that stays in place. All right, we'll get this back in, line it up, and then pull this end over. Oops, sorry, pull this end over to drop that in. All right, we'll get this back in. Yeah, we'll leave the drive out so they have access to their data. Okay, get that, latch that down, and then we'll get this and latch that down. Then we have this, we can stick that on there, and that's pretty much it. We're just going to go ahead and put this thing back together, okay? Alright, don't forget the screw for the optical disk drive, otherwise it'll just slide out if you pull on it. Okay, we'll get this back in, make sure the CD drive goes underneath, okay, take all that back down. Alright, and that's pretty much it. We'll get all the screws back in, and we're good to go. Sadly, this one had more damage than expected, so it wasn't actually repaired, but hopefully this will help you guys upgrade yours, or if your drive or something fails, then you can do that on yours. Alright, again, hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. If you can't help out that way, it would help a lot if you could watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on those as well, because that's what the algorithm likes to see. Other than that, I do have another channel called It's Been Reviewed and More. Same profile picture but zoomed in. If you could subscribe to that one, that would be greatly helpful. Alright, we're just going to get the last few screws in, and then we should be good to go. Alright. Don't forget all these hinge screws, they're very important. These smaller ones too. Okay. Last 2 case screws, and then the little cover, and we're done. Okay, get that rubber piece in, we'll get this in, click these all down. Okay, I like to pull up from the middle here while I push the clips down into place. There we go. It causes it to flex like this, so that way it pulls the clips in. Last screw, get the little sticker if you want. And we're good to go. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Let's drop this. Bye.